My name is Gregg Wilkes. I'm with a company called VisiSonics. We're a spin-out of the University of Maryland's Computer Science Department. 8 to 10 years ago, we started developing algorithms that can create 3D sound and stereo headsets. We did this for a project we were working on, helping newly blinded soldiers learn how to trust their ears instead of their eyes. So we had to be able to create sound with pinpoint accuracy in stereo headsets. Bus, cab, dog. Through the years, we started looking at how we can commercialize that technology. So we started working on algorithms and plugins for the gaming industry. In the other room, we're going to demonstrate how we can play sound in any XYZ coordinate stereo headsets. And then we'll show you the Tuscany demo. The Tuscany demo is a demo that comes with the DK1 headsets from Oculus. We take several devices, objects in that game, and we apply sound to them. We put a speaker up in the ceiling. So as you walk up to it and buy it, you'll hear it above you and it goes past you. We put the sound of a helicopter on a butterfly. So you hear the that's a butterfly, but it sounds like a helicopter spinning around your head. Same thing with the fountain. You hear the richness of the fountain when the water's coming out and falling, as well as the fire. Again, spin out, University of Maryland, 3D audio is called Real Space 3D Audio. We've created a free plug-in, if you're a developer, for the Unity gaming engine. So you can actually download it from realspace3daudio.com and test it if you're developing a game. You can be the first one to put 3D sound in your game or any game. It's not on the market yet. We did our first public showing at CES in January, GDC in March. We just got back from E3. And if you understand the way human brains process sound, it's a three-legged stool, we like to call it. It uses head tracking, so when you turn your head, right, sound follows. You use HRTF, head-related transfer function, which is ears, head, shoulders, and you use size of room and room textures. We put all three of those things inside the algorithm so you can actually experience real sounding audio in gaming. Come see the demo. I think you'll love it. Thank you very much. Any questions? Oh, darn. If they're technical, the guy who invented all this stuff is in the other room. Go ahead.
Plans for Unreal Engine, or is it just Unity?
So the first thing is Unity. Next is the Wise. Next is Fmod Studio, and those are in development now. And then Unreal, then Cry. You know, today in Unity it runs on Windows, Mac, iOS, Android.
Can you tell us the name of the company and project?
The name of the company is VisiSonics, located at the University of Maryland. And the reason we call it VisiSonics, we actually have a camera that's a 64-element spherical array that has 5 HD cameras. We can actually capture sound and video 360 degrees. And if you plug in a Rift, you can actually, whatever direction you look from anywhere in the world, is the direction you're looking at in that camera. So from a telepresence standpoint, we can create the best seat in the house for a concert, a ball game, and you'll get the audio and video as if you're sitting in that chair from anywhere. That we're not pushing it.
Can we buy that camera?
Actually, you can. The camera is actually used when they're designing new cars at Mercedes, at Tesla, at Ford. When they're in the wind tunnel, we put this device in there at 88 miles an hour. We can hear where sound's leaking into the cabin and apply sight to that sound, colors, so we understand what the frequency and the decibels are. Traditionally, they would have this device that would have 64 wires. It would take them a week to process it. We run all of that through a USB 3.0 cable because we do a digital analog conversion at the base of the mic. You can instantaneously see and hear where sound's coming from, so the engineers can start playing fixes immediately. Cool. Same thing when in a room. Down at the Kennedy Center, you can make a sound, and can you watch the sound, how it travels around the theater, and then they put sound deadening material to make the experience in the back of the room as it goes to the front. But today we're showing gaming.
So is it binaural audio? Like you get the delay?
Yeah, that's part of it. The human audio for the past 20 years, the way they try to create 3D sound is pen. And many folks use a dummy with, you know, 2 mics, and that's how they do it. So they slow down the sound coming to this ear instead of this one, but they can't get elevation. They can't get front and back. Like we have front and back because of these. If this was flat, all of a sudden you can't tell what's front and what's back anymore. So the 3 pieces of that stool, 3 legs of that stool, incorporated inside the algorithm allows the designer to then take an object, a person inside the game, and then an object flying around, take those XYZ coordinates, run through our algorithm. When it goes behind you, you hear the sound behind you. Binaural, you can't do that. Right. You can't get elevation. You certainly can't get behind it. But that's kind of where it started. And Dr. Dorswamy, when he started looking at virtual reality audio 10 years ago, and that's kind of where that other device came from, so he could capture the sound, ambient sounds from the street corner.
I want to ask, if you have like an existing soundtrack already, right? And you use your algorithm, right? Yeah, you apply it to the algorithms. Is that going to work with Unity? Like special?
Good question. So the strategy, actually, when we wanted to commercialize the technology, there's 3 more buckets: gaming, cinema, and music. Gaming was the most accessible, maybe, the easiest kind of proof of concept. In cinema, we can take a 5-to-1 surround sound movie with our algorithm. We can recreate 5-to-1 or 7-to-1 speakers in stereo headsets. So once we're done with gaming, imagine watching a movie on your tablet. No one does that. On a laptop, no one does that. Even on a smartphone. We could give you that 5-to-1 experience with regular stereo headsets. Watch the movie on any of those 3 devices. Music, we actually have another technology that takes the stereo sound, breaks it down into separate tracks, and then applies it towards those 5 different speakers or 7 different speakers. And then we bring it back down through stereo, so you can get 5-to-1 surround sound through stereo music. That's a little bit more difficult, and people don't listen to music typically in surround sound. Some do, but very few. So it doesn't sound normal. But so to answer your question, yeah, we can do it with sound, with music, we can do it with movies, and we'll show you how we do it with gaming. But now that virtual reality came out, this is the perfect time. And God bless Oculus for getting bought for $2 billion. Because now everyone's like, wow, this is really cool. Your brain needs this and this to process. So we also demonstrate the technology in the Tuscany demo, so you'll see how that sound improves the overall experience.
Are you open sourcing the source code to this, or are you just providing access to your own API?
So our goal was to start out with Unity, then probably provide it through the asset store at Unity, provide as a plugin through Wise, who would have their own asset store. FMod Studio, they're going to do the same.
Right.
So provide it through their asset stores where they get a small piece of it, we get a small piece of it. Who knows what happens once we get to the market? Right now we're just working with a lot of developers, both in hardware and software, to make sure that the people that develop these awesome games, it works the way they want it to work. Because if it's more work for them, they're not going to use it.
Right.
And right now they're all pretty excited. So.
Yeah.